medical records. A preliminary report including factual information is expected in about 15 days.
The Calhoun County Sheriff's Office has released the names of the 2 people killed Monday night in that helicopter crash near Seadrift. The man identified as 56-year-old Dr. Glenn Ide of Bay City. The woman identified as 50-year-old Arcelia Cisneros of Houston. Authorities say it was foggy and it's possible the crash was weather-related. Dr. Ide owned the home near where the crash happened. The couple was headed to Bay City. Tuesday would have been Cisneros' birthday. Dr. Ide worked at Matagorda Regional Medical Center. They released a statement saying, "Our hearts are profoundly saddened by the unexpected loss of Dr. Glenn Ide. Dr. Ide served our community as a general surgeon since 2018 and played a vital role in bringing new procedures and technological advances to MRMC. He'll be greatly missed by his patients, co-workers, and fellow medical staff members. Our prayers and sincerest thoughts are with the Ide family," unquote.
And now we bring you an update on that stabbing incident at Yamato restaurant yesterday afternoon. The man accused in the stabbing incident is charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. 70-year-old Leduan Zhu is held without bond. A person close to the situation says the 47-year-old victim did not go to the hospital and continued to work today following the stabbing incident. The suspect also works at the restaurant.
The murder trial tied to the shooting death of a Victoria woman continuing today. On February 19, 2022, Tinasha Upton was driving a Ford Expedition in the 1100 block of Lova Drive after stopping at a stop sign. That's when she was fatally shot. Days later, police arrested a 17-year-old Victoria woman and 2 juveniles. They were all charged with murder. One of the juveniles pled guilty to manslaughter last week and will serve 20 years in prison. Today, a jury found the teen on trial guilty. The teen was sentenced to 20 years in prison. We're working to learn more on where the case of the 3rd defendant stands. An Amber Alert issued in Cold Spring, that's 55 miles north of Houston. The victim, an 8-year-old white female by the name of Haven Barker. The suspect is a 50-year-old American Indian and Alaskan Native male, Charles Estep. The vehicle last seen was a 2015 Honda Accord. If you have any information on the victim or suspect's whereabouts, call 911. Wharton police used new technology to capture a suspect Tuesday. Wharton police, with 2 of their unmanned drone pilots, sent to a man with a gun call near Riverfront Park in Wharton. Now, using both of Wharton PD's new thermal drones with mapping and telemetry, they could see the scene from nearly 400 feet in the air. They were able to guide the officers to where the suspect was hiding. 28-year-old Rico Gonzalez of Wharton taken into custody and charged with robbery, theft of a firearm, and felon in possession of a firearm.
Now let's take a quick break and take a look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez. Wow, that's a mouthful. First Warn Storm Team.
I'm telling you.
And now the chief now part, it's a mouthful.
And this is a great day to have a lot of ice in your mouth because I'm telling you, it was hot out there today, man.
Yes, it is. But just remember, Karina, Maclovio is my real name, but my friends call me Mac. Are we friends?
We'll stick with Mac.
Then we're friends. All
righty.
Yes, it is. Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. We're looking at a high today of 88 degrees, and you're thinking that's great, right? Well, I'm thinking, is it going to be like this forever until October? Temperature should be in the 70s this time of year, but we're running warm and windy right on through the weekend, and there's a little glimmer of hope at the other end of the forecast that might actually cool us down. We'll have all that for you coming up in just a moment.
Mac, thank you. One of the Americans who survived a kidnapping in Mexico expected to come home to South Carolina today.
Officials say she and 3 others were kidnapped at gunpoint last Friday while in the border city of Matamoros. Authorities say they were found inside of a wooden house. 2 of the 4 were dead.
A road trip for cosmetic surgery turned deadly nightmare. 2 of the 4 Americans kidnapped at gunpoint in Mexico last week, waking up this morning on U.S. soil. The other 2 they were with did not survive.
2 U.S. citizens were returned to the United States. The bodies of 2 other U.S. citizens killed in the same incident were also recovered.
Officials say the group's minivan was crashed into and then fired upon just after crossing into the city of Matamoros. This video showing the moment armed men loaded the group onto a pickup truck Friday. After a manhunt, the two survivors, Latavia Tay McGee and Eric Williams, were found in this wooden house outside the city where the abduction happened. Officials say they were moved around to create confusion. McGee found unharmed. Williams, his wife says, with multiple gunshot wounds to the leg.
It was just tears of joy, I guess, that he's alive.
McGee's mom, who says she previously warned her daughter not to travel to Mexico for a cosmetic procedure, emotional over the phone.
I had to hold my heart. I was thinking the Lord. I said, thank you, Jesus. There is a God.
Also recovered from the shack, the bodies of Shaid Woodward and Zindel Brown. Mexican officials believe the incident was a case of mistaken identity. A source telling ABC News the gunman may have targeted the group's vehicle, wrongly believing the Americans were rival human traffickers. Now the Biden administration calling for justice.
We want to see accountability for the violence that has been inflicted on these Americans that tragically led to the death of two of them.
Authorities say a man who was in charge of watching the Americans was arrested. And while officials haven't shared how many people they believe are involved in the attack, the investigation is still ongoing. M. Nguyen, ABC News, Washington.
Whataburger is reducing its corporate workforce and is asking employees to return to its office starting this week. The Houston Chronicle reports the San Antonio-based chain says the recent cuts affect less than 0.1% of Whataburger's total workforce of more than 50,000 employees, or less than 50 people.
Well, we've known for a while now that bees play a crucial role in our ecosystem, but one local group in Victoria says the bees are way more important to us than what we originally knew.
25 News Now reporter Darius McCormick says he had a beautiful time working on this report.
Well, guys, I am suited and booted again. This time I met the queen bee and not the one that's crazy in love. We had to suit up before we made our trip to adopt a hive to discuss how the community could keep honeybees alive. Bees continue to face colony collapse disorder, which means the bees are dying or being killed.
I realized how we automatically let's kill the bees when I realized that that's not the approach we need to take. Saving the bees is definitely on my number one, and teaching people about how important they are.
According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, bees pollinate around $15 billion worth of crops a year. The insects are responsible for over 100 fruits, nuts, and vegetables. Potatoes, bell peppers, almonds, and oranges are only a few of the crops honeybees pollinate.
It would just decline the trees, everything. We rely on the bees to keep the world running, in my opinion.
Although the decline of fresh produce would hit us hard, we'd also be without honey. Bees impact our community and agriculture directly, but they could also hurt our economy. The best way to keep bees alive is by calling Adopt a Hive.
If you have any bee issues, give us a call at Adopt a Hive and we'll come out and remove them safely and teach you about what it takes to keep the bees.
They save and restore bees rather than exterminating them. With their restoration, we could save our crops and help save the world's beehive. Reporting in Victoria, I'm Darius McCormick, KAVU-TV, 25 News Now.
And this, of course, brings us to your viewer poll this evening. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote right now. In what way do you contribute to protecting the honeybee population? Now, we have a lot of options today, and 37% said by not killing the bees, 42% said by planting trees or flowers, staying away from chemicals is at 5%, and 1% says building homes for bees. Now, the answers are a little far away from me, Don, so I can't really read them, but
2% on the supporting local beekeepers and organizations, and all of the above 13%. Lucky 13%.
Lucky percent. No, you're better eyesight than me. I can't even read that all the way over there.
Do you need these at all? I could.
I might.
Okay. Perfect.
Well, thank you for participating. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to participate in all our viewer polls, and we will have an update on 25 News Now at 10.
The largest Lotto Texas jackpot in more than 12 years now sits at $51.5 million. For tonight's drawing, the current jackpot remains the second largest in North America and third largest in the world. Tonight's Lotto Texas drawing offers a cash value worth $30.6 million.
Now here's some of the top headlines you can read in the Port Lavaca Wave this week. Travis Middle School and Seadrift School competed in a robotics competition, with Seadrift taking home a 17th place finish. The Memorial Medical Center is outlining new changes, such as their rebranding to Memorial Medical Healthcare System, and the YMCA is offering a new Mommy and Me service for children and their parents. You can read these stories and more at theportlavacawave.com.
Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 6, the CDC attributes a sharp rise in fatalities to illegally manufactured synthetic opioids like fentanyl.
Also ahead, according to a 40-year study, more than 170 trillion plastic particles have polluted the world's oceans.
This is a meal worth sharing. Right now, get 4 hot and spicy McChicken sandwiches, 20-piece chicken McNuggets, and a basket of fries for $15.99. Only at McDonald's.
For months, we've been saying that Fred Loya can save you more money on your car insurance. But just how much more? In recent months, people who switched from Geico and Progressive to Fred Loya Insurance have saved over $1,500 a year. State Farm customers who switched to Fred Loya saved over $1,600 a year. Allstate customers saved over $1,100 a year. That's a combined savings of over $240,000 a year. So start paying less. Call or visit fredloya.com. If you don't call, you don't save.
Please tune in Sundays at 11 a.m. on KAVU Channel 25, Sudden Link Channel 4 to view the First Baptist Church weekly service.
Opioid overdose deaths in the United States have been steadily increasing for decades, but the CDC attributes a sharp rise in fatalities in recent years due to illegally manufactured synthetic opioids like fentanyl.
That's right. Those who have lost loved ones to overdoses plead that more needs to be done.
It's a synthetic opioid intended to help patients manage severe pain, but fentanyl is now driving the drug overdose crisis across the country.
Fentanyl overdoses cause the equivalent of a new September 11th every 2 weeks.
Provisional data from the CDC revealing more than 2/3 of all overdose deaths are linked to synthetic opioids like fentanyl, leaving almost no community untouched.
It hurts every day.
It was something I had heard of, but not something I would have ever thought would have killed our child, ever.
While the federal government has declared the opioid crisis a public health emergency, there's a new push to target fentanyl and similar substances that are exacerbating the epidemic, including a proposed bill aimed at labeling Mexican drug cartels foreign terrorist organizations.
This problem is a national security threat. Fentanyl is a killer, and the people killing Americans reside out in the open in Mexico.
But some who have lost loved ones are taking matters into their own hands.
When my son died, I had never heard of fentanyl before.
Jaime Puerta lost his son Daniel to fentanyl poisoning in April 2020. He claims Daniel bought a fake pill from a dealer on Snapchat. Through his nonprofit called Void, Victims of Illicit Drugs, Puerta is working to raise awareness and change the conversation.
We have to look at it as a poison and not a war on drugs, but a war on fentanyl.
In Los Angeles, I'm Mike Valerio.
Federal safety regulators are investigating Tesla over steering wheels that can reportedly fall off the 2023 Model Y SUV. It comes after at least 2 instances in which owners said their steering wheels became detached while the vehicle was being driven. Authorities say those 2 Teslas were missing the bolt that attaches the steering wheel to the steering column. Roughly 120,000 vehicles on U.S. roads could be affected.
A 40-year study says more than 170 trillion plastic particles have polluted the world's oceans. Plastic production soared in the last few decades, particularly single-use plastics. only about 9% of plastics are recycled each year. The United Nations has agreed to create a legal binding global plastics treaty by 2024, which would address plastic from production to disposal. But some argue it should also include cuts in plastic manufacturing, which are predicted to quadruple by 2050. Here are some of the top headlines you can read in the Cuero Record this week. The livestock show auction brings in over $1 million, and the community gathered for the Cuero time capsule ceremony. This time capsule is set to open in the year of 2073. Plus, the districts in Cuero prepare for the upcoming local elections May 6th. You can read these stories and more at DeWittCountyToday.com.
March was once known as the snowiest month in Minnesota, but not anymore. The average Minnesota snowfall in March was nearly 12 inches, but March dropped to third place from 1970 to 2000 and slipped to fourth over the last 3 decades. Since 2000, 7 of the 20 largest snowfalls in the Twin Cities hit in the year's shortest month. In Duluth, it's 8 of 20. For Rochester, more than half. The snowiest month in Minnesota is now December.
Very interesting how things are changing over all of the world, not only for our area. We're getting warmer earlier. You probably noticed that these are not exactly spring-like temperatures. We're looking at very warm, windy weather on through the weekend. And we'll take a look at that 7-day because there's a little hope in that one. All that coming up in just a moment. Stay tuned.
News Center 25 at 6 and 10 is also heard on KVNN 1340 AM, Victoria's News Network.
T-Mobile covers 99% of people in America. So when we say we have your town covered, we mean it.
Where I live is a rural area, and the coverage has been awesome.
And great coverage is just the beginning. Families and small businesses can save 20% versus AT&T.
The savings we get allows us to do more things as a family. We're a one-income military family. Saving every month really does help us.
Plus, with our T-Mobile Price Lock, we guarantee we won't raise the price of your rate plan. Switch today.
The Kiwanis Club has been serving the youth in Victoria since 1946, and we're excited to invite you to our 3rd annual Kids Fest from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on March 25th at First English Lutheran Church, featuring Brother Gary Moses, Stephanie Ross and the Southern Drive Band, Take 3 Jazz, inflatables, food trucks, YMCA activities, Children's Discovery Museum, Texas Zoo, East Baseball Team, BPD Bike Rodeo, City of Victoria Pop-Up Park, and more. Don't miss our 3rd annual Fun-Free Kids Fest on March 25th, because kids matter at Kiwanis, sponsored in part by the Victoria Television Group.
We know you always buy everything your family needs, like the best cuts from our meat market, a bakery with fresh goods baked daily. We are here to assist you, and you can grab fresh tacos. Supermercado Morelos. Live the tradition.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Chief Meteorologist Maclovio Perez, and like I tell everybody, my friends call me Mac, so hopefully we'll be sharing the summertime and several years here doing weather for you. Notice these temperatures, they've knocked down just a little bit. We were at 88 again today and dropping down at 77, but these are the current temperatures, as you can see, and once the sun goes down, well, obviously the weather should cool down. Thing is, beginning, let's see, this weekend, we start with daylight savings time, so we're going to get a lot more sunshine much later in the afternoon. This afternoon, the winds are blowing pretty strong, up to 25 miles an hour in some spots. All of the wind headed northbound into this area right about here. Big thunderstorms are popping up just north of Dallas, all the way down to possibly, the Abilene area. That's where all the big stuff is. This is actually a frontal system that is bringing cooler weather up north. And you might be asking, well, is it coming to our area? No, that's the short answer. There you can see how we're in the 70s and it's warm and humid all the way from our area up to about maybe Waco. And then the temperatures drop into the 50s, believe it or not. They're having some nice cool weather. Of course, those big thunderstorms up there. You can even see how the temperatures right here are dropping with the falling rain. Isn't that interesting? So again, we're on the warm, windy side, not even close to any of that activity. The rest of the country, well, it's still winter out there, believe it or not. We're the only ones that have sort of jumped forward about a month and a half into this kind of weather. Now, Future Tracker will bring us back the cloud cover overnight. You'll see it right about there. We may have some fog. There's the line of up north, and I'm waiting for the big event. The big event is going to be over the weekend when we finally see a frontal system arrive. Now, speaking of the weekend, this is really important. We're jumping forward in daylight saving time. So it's spring forward, Saturday night or Sunday morning, turn the clocks ahead 1 hour. Because if you don't do that, you'll be late for church on Sunday and you're going to get in trouble with the pastor on that one. Anyway, here's the area where we're expecting the heavy rain to occur over the next 12 hours. So it'll be all way up there and not anywhere close to our region. We're going to be high and dry as we're getting through the day here. Now, as we look at our forecast overnight, we're getting, well, we're in the 70s right about now. It's fair and warm, but the clouds will build up. Tomorrow morning we'll be in the overcast again, but a little bit more breezy as that frontal system starts moving down. It gets closer and then it fall apart somewhere along the I-10 corridor. But 68 will be the overnight low temperature. Tomorrow we're looking at a high of 84 degrees. Yes, warm and muggy and windier because of the arrival of that front. The better deal, this is the good one. Don't forget daylight saving time. Sunday night, cool front comes in and actually cools us down into the upper and mid 70s for the early part of next week. That's your 7-day forecast. Don't forget, you can scan me here and take a picture of that square thing there, and that will put Crossroads Today on your phone, and you can take your news, weather, and sports wherever you need to go. Don, Karina, back to you.
Mac, thank you. Sports Director Junior Perez is out today, so tonight we will go to sports reporter Zach Brown.
Karina, thank you. An accomplishment the Longhorns have never seen. Coming up in sports.
I'm Charles Fisher of Fisher's Auto Sales. When you make a big purchase, doing your homework is very important. Invest some time finding the right vehicle at the right dealership. You want a dealership that takes pride in the vehicles they sell and offers quality, not quantity, for their customers' hard-earned money. It's a good idea to buy from someone that offers service after the sale and takes care of their customers like Fisher's Auto Sales. Our family has been taking care of Crossroads families for 20 years now, and we plan on being here another 20 years too.
Get DirecTV with a 2-year price guarantee. Lax has been serving Texas families since 1935, and we're celebrating our 88th year with store-wide savings of 10 to 50%. Plus, get no-interest financing for up to 60 months. The 88th anniversary sale going on now at Lax.
Have you been told you have to live with your wound? There is hope at PAM Outpatient Wound Care. At PAM Outpatient Wound Care Clinic, you'll find the latest technology and the most committed and caring professionals dedicated to your wound healing. Our experienced wound healing experts and multidisciplinary team specialize in preventing amputation and preserving limbs.
I began hyperbarics here. I'm walking and have the leg, which is the best part.
Come see us at PAM Outpatient Wound Care, where healing starts here.
Good evening. Lots of action and score recaps in the Crossroads, beginning with the Victoria West girls who make it look so easy. Dominant again last night. They had many shots on goal and led 4-0 at the half. They would finish the night with a 5-2 victory and are now 9-3 in district, and they have a huge game on Friday at Memorial Stadium where they play King for playoff positioning. The boys also won last night. Final score 2-0. Justice Trake assisting on one of Brandon Garay's 2 goals. No saves by the goalkeeper because I'm told their defense was absolutely fantastic. And on Friday, they've got a shot to win district. They get Flower Bluff at 7:30. That's at Memorial Stadium. Baseball and softball in action, and some teams beginning district play. The Victoria West Warriors traveled to Corpus Christi Moody and took on the Trojans. That was a non-district game. It was a win for the Warriors, 4-2. They get 6 innings out of Arietta, who also registered 9 strikeouts. The Cuero Gobblers played host to the El Campo Ricebirds. The Gobblers went into last night at 9-3 on the year. That is now 9-4 as they fall to El Campo 10-2. Over on the softball side of things, the Hallettsville Brahmas fresh off its state title, kicking off district play on the road in Palacios. The Lady Brahmas roll over the Sharks 19-0. They went undefeated last year in district and continued that last night. The Refugio Bobcats got Taft last night, and Bobcats quarterback Keelan Brown taking a page out of Patrick Mahomes' book with excellent pitching. He got the first 2 innings and recorded 6 strikeouts, gave up no hits and no runs, helping propel the Bobcats to a 4-2 victories. And lastly, the St. Joseph Flyers went to San Antonio St. Anthony and played well, taking home the victory 11-1. When Texas Longhorns coach Chris Beard left the team in mid-December, in stepped interim coach Rodney Terry, and all he did was lead the Longhorns to being ranked number 7 currently, and now Sporting News' college basketball coach of the year. This is the first time in the Longhorns' 116 years of basketball that a coach has received the honors. The Longhorns recently had a huge win over number 3 Kansas. After 47 years and 1,015 wins in Orange, Jim Boeheim has retired from Syracuse. He will be replaced by Adrian Autry, who played for the Orange from 1990 to 1994. Boeheim has 1 national championship, already inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, and made a total of 5 Final Four appearances. What a season for both the boys and the girls basketball teams in Edna, and they finished the year with some all-district honors for both the boys and the girls. From the girls, we've got Shanti Guerra, who won Offensive MVP, and Kashia Robinson takes home Newcomer of the Year honors, while Markel Soto from the boys is the overall district MVP. And first team honors dominated by Edna and Industrial, both with 2 apiece. Floyd Raxton and Kevin Robinson of Edna both get the honors from Industrial. Clarence Hosey and Cade Quebeca take home the honors as well. The World Baseball Classic is tonight, and so are the highlight reels. Panamanian outfielder Luis Castillo collided for a catch, but he would go on to hang on. Don and Karina, back to you.
Zach, thank you. We're back in a moment. The moon had an unusual look Tuesday night in Rome.
I see a story. What kind of movie are we gonna make? Do you ever find yourself overwhelmed by emotion? And cut.
What do you say we come in for my close-up now?
The Oscars, live, Sunday on ABC.
Take a moment to be with your favorites, to laugh in the face of defeat, to experience your special day. At Peter Piper Pizza, we make delicious scratch-made moments that are made to be shared. Share more with our way bigger for a buck deal. Right now, turn your favorite large pizza into an extra large for just $1 more at Peter Piper Pizza. Peter Piper Pizza. Pizza made fresh. Families made happy.
This is Ford Truck Month, Texas. Time to get up and get into Ford F-150, part of F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 46 years straight. All amped up and ready for work or play. Plus, there's a great selection in stock and ready for delivery today. So get into Ford Truck Month, Texas, and see what a built Ford Tough truck can do for you. Drive Ford F-150 with 0.9% for 60 months, 0 down, and 0 payments for 90 days, plus complimentary maintenance.
The Nave Museum's current exhibit is a retrospective of Nancy Bandy's life and art. Primarily a landscape artist, her works in pastel and oil use glorious color to capture the majesty and splendor of big Texas skyscapes. Also featured are portraits and street photography by local artist Danny Vivian, which capture the emotions and personalities of the people he photographs. Open through April 2nd, this is an exhibit not to be missed. Proudly sponsored by the Victoria Television Group.
March's full moon, known as the worm moon, was spotted in the sky over Italy's Roman Forum on Tuesday night. The last full moon of the astronomical winter is named after earthworms that coincidentally emerge from the soil at this time of the year. It also marks the beginning of the transition to spring in the northern hemisphere. So, Mac, there you go. As the worm turns, here comes the spring.
Ooh, yes, a good reminder that spring, wow, what a wonderful concept. We are in summer as our temperatures stay in the mid-80s right on through the weekend. You may even see some 90s. Remember that Saturday night we spring forward and just look forward to Monday when a nice north wind blows in and cools us down into the 70s.
All right, thanks for joining us.